Hello, sweet friends, and welcome to another episode of Days of Summer. I'm Gina from the TheReBookery channel, and I'm glad you are with me. So this is my binder that I have been working in on a journal series called Days of Summer. I've done a couple of process videos, and so I will link those down below. And I'm going to do a process video today of a very uneventful weekend. And that is a-okay because days don't always have to be full of things. So I picked 3 days, I think it was last weekend or maybe the weekend before, 3 days that I kind of just didn't do a bunch of stuff. Like a lot of my days are just hanging out at my house and doing things, around my neighborhood and things like that. So I actually took some pictures of these things, and I thought, you know what? Because my first entry was kind of exciting because we went somewhere, this one can be low-key and not as full of events. So I just pulled a page out of my binder. It was one of the original pages that came in this binder. This is a weekend crafts binder that I got at an estate sale or at a thrift store, for about 50 cents. And I'm going to use the original pages. This one, it just looks like I actually painted over it, did a wash of paint. And so I'm going to use that book jacket, and I'll tell you why I'm going to use that here in just a second. I took it over to my sewing machine and I just stitched it on, and then I punched the holes. In this journal, one of the things that I am doing for each one of my entries is I'm using these really cool calendar pages that a journaling friend of mine, her name is Mitz, and her channel is My Life Mitz. She sent this calendar to me, and I love it because it's got the moon on it, and it's just also got some other celestial things in a few of the pages. And so I'm going to use the pages from this calendar throughout this journal. And so if you are going to do a journal that you're going to keep for, a long period of time, and you're going to be doing several entries at different time periods or for different events, one of the things to help tie it all together is to use some of the same supplies. So in this journal, I'm going to use dictionary pages whenever I can. I'm going to use the original pages for this binder whenever I can, and I'm going to use the calendar pages from that calendar whenever I can. If you remember back a couple of summers ago when I started my garden journal, I tried to do that throughout that journal also. I know I used the same alphabet stamps, and I tried to use the same papers. And so, it just kind of helps to tie a journal like that all together. So I also am looking at my first entry and I want to try to mimic some of the things that I put on that first entry. And so I used the stickers. It wasn't the exact label sticker that I just put on, but it was something very similar. And I know that I wrote like day 1, day 2, day 3, whatever. And so I'm writing on this one. I think it's day 7, day 8, and day 9. So in my journal, I'm not documenting every single day, and that is a-okay. You don't have to do this. This is days of summer. There may be some days of summer that I don't feel like documenting anything, or I didn't do anything that was really document worthy, and that's okay. There's no rule that says you have to document every single day. You pick and choose what you want to go into this journal. So I put day 7 on here on that little label, and I put it on the front of that book jacket. And that book jacket's going to actually become a page too, which actually works out really well because I'm documenting 3 days, and so I kind of need a little extra space. So here I'm just taking my photos that I print at home on my Epson PictureMate Dash. It's a small little printer, and I don't know that they make it anymore, but it works for me, and as long as I have enough ink packs, I'll be able to still use it. I just took those photos and I kind of sorted them into day 7, which I think was Friday, day 8, which was Saturday, and then day 9, which was Sunday. And so I'm just going to start on the front of this book jacket, and I'm going to start documenting day 7. I think I start off with my dog and just a little bit about, how I've been starting my mornings since I've been on summer break. And my mornings start with feeding my dog, and you're going to laugh at this, but I actually make his dog food for him. And we make his breakfast, and then we sit out on the deck, and we call it deck time. And so he loves deck time. So that's how we start every day. Then I flipped it over to the inside of this book jacket, and I really like the little synopsis of the story that's on that left-hand side. So I kind of want to keep that because this story has some significance, and I'll get to it here in just a second. But I want to also add something on that inside flap. So these are some scraps of paper from a book that I got. It's by Uppercase, and this was a book on feed sacks. And I know I've done a video on it before, but it just gave the history of feed sacks and showed a lot of different examples of feed sacks and what their significance is throughout history. And it was just it was an amazing book. And in this book they sent some paper that looked like feed sacks, and so I've been holding on to it forever and ever. And I just saw the strips here, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use it. So I'm putting some pieces in here, some little pieces that have like holes in them where I've done some punching, some square punching. And I thought that would be a perfect little place to add some of those smaller photos. So I'm just going to stick those smaller photos in, and then I'm going to kind of arrange the other photos over on that right-hand side. But I feel like I need something to make them stand out from the page, because the page is white and the photos have a white border. So I pulled out some old wrapping paper, and I'm just going to slap them down on that wrapping paper and then randomly cut them out or tear them out. And it just kind of gives a little bit of color and a little bit of background to draw your attention to those photos. And so these photos are pictures of journals that I've been working on, and some of you guys actually purchased some of those journals. And they have taken a lot of my time here lately, and I do believe on that Friday, I spent a lot of time working on those journals. It was time I loved, absolutely, but it was time that I spent nonetheless, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to document those. I also like to have pictures of journals, because once they're gone, once they go to their new home, I don't have them anymore, and so I always like to take pictures before I send them off. And so that's what I did, and I actually printed these pictures out. I also have a picture of a butterfly. It was just a butterfly that I saw in my backyard one day, and it was kind of significant because a lot of these journals that I made this time were centered around insects and butterflies and moths. So I thought that was kind of cool. There's that label sticker again, and I'm going to use those label stickers throughout this journal. It'll just add a great place to put some journaling or some titles, and because there's going to be so much going on in this journal, it will be a great place for, as you're looking through it, you'll know automatically, oh, when I see that label with the red border, that's where the text is, and that's where my eye can go if I want to read to find out what's going on in the pictures. So I'm just searching through my stickers here, seeing if I have anything. I feel like I want to put some stickers on. Sometimes I get in a mood that I just love to put stickers all over the place, and I am definitely in one of those moods. So I'm searching, trying desperately to find stickers that will support this, and I'm kind of at a loss here. I didn't find the exact ones I want, which is actually pretty good because it forced me to have to find ones that maybe weren't a literal match. For example, there's going to be a picture of me riding a bike here on another part of the spread, and I know I have pictures of bicycles. I don't know where they are, or stickers of bicycles, and I don't know where they are. So it just forced me to have to come up with some other stickers that could support my story and portray the meaning that I was having to do in that spread. And so what I ended up and settled on were Snoopy stickers. And these were Snoopy stickers that had to do with praise and being great and things like that. I thought those were fitting because during this time period was when the World Cup started. And I'm obsessed with the World Cup. I was last summer with the Men's World Cup, and I am even more so this year with the Women's World Cup. I'm obsessed. I love it. I try not to miss a game at all. I'm always up, and I got my lineup ready to go, and I got my my games all ready, and I sit there and I watch the World Cup, and I try to work while I'm watching it, and I can't because I just get so into the games. And I want everybody to win. And I know that's not possible, but God, I do. I want everybody to win. I wanted Jamaica to win. I want Thailand to win so bad. And I actually, today, Thailand scored their first goal, and I was so proud of them. And of course, I want USA to win too. So I put those stickers there because to me that kind of represents sports and sportsmanship and being the best and doing your best and the trophy and all that stuff. So that's why I use those stickers, and I like that I wasn't able to find the exact stickers I needed because these actually I like a lot better. So now I'm over onto the other side, and this was that same day. It was the 7th, and we went to a new ice cream place. So after my husband spent the day cleaning out his truck, and I rode my bike. It was beautiful weather, and I would just go ride my bike, and then I'd come back, and I'd hang out at the house, and then I'd go get on my bike again and go ride all over the place and come back. That's how I like to ride my bike. I like to do it in short little trips, and then relax in between times. But it was awesome. It was so fun. And so afterwards, we wanted to go try out this new ice cream and donut place that's farther into the city. And so we went there, and I had anticipated this so much. And usually when I do that, things go awry. And sure enough, they did. I had planned on getting soft serve ice cream because this place was going to be all about soft serve ice cream. And when I walked in, I saw their hard ice cream, and it was these gourmet flavors. And I got all befuddled, and instead of getting soft serve, I ended up and got the other, which was good. But the whole point was I wanted to get soft serve. So it was just one of those weird times where I was like, okay, I'm sitting here eating this ice cream, and then I realized, oh, this is not what I came here for. I totally wasted this time coming here. I got something that I hadn't anticipated. Of course, they didn't have any donuts, so what we did was we got in the truck, we drove north of the river, went to our favorite donut place, and we got a dozen donuts, and so I have a picture of that. And it's summertime, so they have their lemon donuts, and yeah, so it was all good. We went down and we checked out the river because it's flooded right now, and so we went down there to see how high it was, and that kind of finished off that night. So now I'm on the backside, and this was Sunday. And Sunday was just me hanging out in my favorite place, my hammock. And, I thought about putting a fancy title and stuff on here, and then I thought, why? Why would I do that? That takes up too much time, and what's it matter? So I wrote it. I wrote it with my China marker, and you know what? After I went over it and made it darker, I think it looks pretty darn awesome. It goes exactly with my style. My style is just kind of there. It's random. It's quirky. It's kind of unfinished. It's not polished. It's not perfect. And yeah, that's kind of what I like. So after I wrote it, I thought, yeah, no, this is exactly what I was looking for. And when I was writing it, I was afraid that I'd kind of messed it up, but I don't think I did. That's a picture of me taking a picture of me in the hammock. And I have one of my favorite quilts around me because it was so cold. And I just liked that picture. So I blew that picture up, made it a little bit bigger so it became my lead picture on this spread. And then as you know, I'm going to do in all of my spreads throughout this journal is I'm going to just go through and outline all my photos with my black China marker, because again, it just keeps things consistent, and it doesn't look very mismatched, sorry. And it just kind of makes it look like the whole journal had been planned out. So my last few photos, I'm going to place on the in the inside of this flap. I'm going to use that wrapping paper again, and I'm just going to pluck these photos down. It's a picture of my doggy, a picture of my husband. I feel like I need a little more color here, so I'm going to add a couple of little pieces of washi tape. And I'm pretty much done with this. I'm going to call it good. I did most of my journaling as I was adding the pictures and stuff, so I'm okay with it. I think it looks finished, and I get the general idea as I go through it. And the last thing I want to do is I want to document why I have that book jacket. And so the book jacket is a book jacket of a children's book called The 100 Dresses. And if you've never read it, it is really, really awesome. Here's the thing. I am so embarrassed to say this. I had never read that book before. I should have, if not when I was a kid myself, I should have read it when I was an elementary teacher. I cannot believe I didn't read it. I was in a thrift store a couple weeks ago, and I saw this beautiful copy with this beautiful book jacket, and I was like, you know what? I'm buying this. It was 10 cents. I'm buying this, and I'm going to read it this summer. So on my hammock day, I took that book outside, sat in my hammock, and I read it. It took me about a half hour, and it was amazing. It was so cool. And so I wanted to document that, and that's why I'm using that book jacket. If you've never read it, you need to read it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And it's got a lesson about life that is timeless. And yeah, pretty good. Pretty awesome. Okay. So anyway, finishing it up, and I'm going to get ready and stick it in the big journal just to see how it kind of works out here. And checking to see, if the holes match up and all that good stuff. There's some more stuff with the Snoopy. Oh, what does that one say? I don't know, whatever that sticker says, number 1, I think. And then I put the word weirdo after that, because my daughter and I, we call our dog a weirdo. I don't know. We just always think he's like a weirdo. And I always think of weirdo, Gonzo on the Muppets. He was a weirdo. And so that's kind of what I always think of when I think of weirdo. Okay, final touches. I'm getting ready to pull out the binder, put it in the binder, check and make sure that it works really well together. And it does, and I'm happy with it. All right, kiddos, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got some inspiration. I hope you are healthy. I hope you are happy. And stay tuned. I've got another video for Days of Summer ready to go. I'll probably release it in the next few days, and I will talk at you soon. Bye.